Protesters advocating for the elimination of sexual orientation and gender identity curriculum in schools are being met by demonstrators who believe the topics have a place in the classroom. For more now, I want to bring in Shawn Rouse. He's a parent of a transgender child, and he joins us now from Quispamsis, New Brunswick. Thank you for making time for us.
Hi, Arthur.
Okay, so now as a parent, of course, how are you feeling about these protests that are underway today?
Well, I can't remember seeing anything like this. I'm almost 50 years old, and this is the first time I've seen a protest like this. It's obviously very discouraging for us having LGBTQ children to see a protest like this. I know others are very concerned and very worried about the rise of anti-trans rhetoric that has suddenly taken hold in the past few months.
To that end, what have you seen or experienced or heard about, from whether it's colleagues or friends on the front of the rise in the rhetoric that you've described there?
Yeah, especially online social media, there is a lot of people who, with anonymous accounts, they don't often want to admit who they are, but they spend a lot of time online spreading rumors and videos and telling horror stories and just really inciting a lot of fear and hatred towards trans and non-binary, gender diverse people.
We know certainly that there is a wide array of opinions on this particular topic. I want to know from you, how do you view the struggle over the rights of the parent to be involved in a child's sexual education and gender identity, and the obligation then, as we've heard, of schools to provide an inclusive, safe space for students?
Right. I mean, I think a lot of people try to frame this as parental rights. That's a phrase that's been around for decades. Whenever a parent has something they don't like at a public school, they say, well, I have parental rights and I get to veto over what my child finds out at public school. And those cases are as old as the hills. And this is just another one. So this is nothing new. Anytime that a public school curriculum decides that they're going to talk about something that a parent might not be comfortable with, there's a pushback. And I think we're seeing a pushback now for the first time, just where this is the first time in my lifetime that, trans people have been normalized, not just adults, but children. Where they've been at school and told it's okay to be trans. If you feel this way, there's nothing wrong with you. It's completely normal. And there's people out there who don't like that, and I get that. And there's a lot of people who don't understand. They've never met a trans person, or they don't think they have, or a gender diverse or a person who uses different pronouns, and they hear all this scary stuff on the internet, and they say, "Oh no, the kids are in trouble." The kids are fine. As parental rights, I want to know everything that's going on with my kids all the time. Even the ones that are older, I still am always wondering what's up with them and watching over them. As kids get older, though, they sometimes need this zone of privacy to figure themselves out. And I think anyone who's had a teenager realizes this, that there's some things that they want to figure out on their own, and they don't want their parents to be the first ones that they talk about this with. They'll talk about certain things with their friends first, or other trusted people in their lives. And often it's because the parents are the most important conversation, that, especially with something like gender identity or sexual orientation, that they'll go to the parents last once, because it's the most nerve-wracking conversation for them. It's the most important conversation. And they'll want to make sure that they know what they're going to say and who they are when they go to have that conversation with the parents. And in the cases of schools, I mean, in New Brunswick, we were talking about using a chosen name and correct pronouns. for kids under 16 who say they don't have the support of a parent, or they're pretty sure they don't have support of a parent. So they're not getting a sign off to use that chosen name and their correct pronouns at school. So kids know when their parents are safe or not, and it's something that we need to leave up to the kids. The kids will choose when they come out to friends, family, and other loved ones, and we need to let them lead the way.
Now, Shawn, you're a parent, of course, of a 14-year-old transgender child, and so you've experienced this firsthand in terms of this transition. And as you said as well, that often it's parents who are finding that they're uncomfortable with something in the curriculum. You mentioned that. So I'm wondering, for you, is this something that you've always been comfortable with, or did it take some learning for you too?
Well, absolutely. I'm not ashamed to admit it. When my youngest came out to us and said, I think I'm non-binary, okay. That was, you let them know they're loved uh, more than anything, that they'll always be supported, they'll always be accepted no matter what. And later on, after talking with us and others, they came to the decision that they were trans. Now, this is something they came to when they were quite young, 10, 11 years old, that they decided that they were trans, that was, they took it all in. We talked to counselors, we talked to other professionals, and that's where we arrived, and we're very comfortable with that. It took, a little for me to understand it. It's not something that I would say I understood right away. I had to listen and take it all in. And the three things they say you want to watch for is it's consistent, persistent, and insistent over time. That they present this identity, and those are the things that we saw. This wasn't going away; it wasn't changing, and very firm on this is who I am, and we 100% support that. We never had, it was never an issue for us. We never had any concerns about them being trans once they came.
Shawn, I want to thank you so much for your time today in shedding light on your experience on this issue.